Well, this is where I am out in the wild in Blanco, Texas. Beautiful place to come out when you just want to get away. This is part of a huge ranch out here where I am staying in a beautiful cabin and beginning the writing of my second book, volume 2 of my memoir trilogy, Sonoma. And so I definitely want to take a moment here in all of my time out in the wild, rejuvenate my spirit, to really talk to men. So to all of my men out there, all of you brothers who are trying to make so much more out of your life in spite of the distractions and the pain and mental fogginess going on in the midst of layers and layers of responsibilities. There are some things I figure out for myself, and I want to be able to share those with you so that hopefully it encourages you. You see, I have my own family. I have 2 boys and a wife, and then besides that, I run my own business. So as a professional life coach, I am also particularly in many ways responsible for helping professionals, many gifted individuals, to make sense of their own lives, to create new purpose, new goals to achieve in their lives. And if they're going through certain difficulties, as we all do, I am also responsible for helping them navigate that and to be able to create inspiring visions that remove them from depression or possible heavy depression into brighter days of their lives where they feel more hopeful, feel more inspired, and feel more enthusiastic about life. Besides that, I'm also a musician. As you can see, I'm carrying my guitar with me where I'm writing some songs out in the woods, but I'm also here particularly writing more of the second volume of my book. If you haven't checked out the first one yet, I encourage you to definitely check it out. It's called Sonoma, S-U-N-U-M-A, and that's volume 1. It's out there. You can check it out on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. It's everywhere. But what I want to do this video about is not just talking about my book or why I'm here. I want to share something particularly with you guys out there, women also who listen to this, who can benefit from it. That's good. But I want to particularly speak to men. You see, many times we as men, especially men who are living life with so many obligations, not men who have checked out and have simply bowed down to the pressure of the world, to the pressure of society, to the pressures of obligations, including your job or your career, or especially when you have a family. Many times as a man, what I have figured out for myself is if I stay stagnant without moving, without continuously moving towards what inspires me and what feeds my spirit, then something happens. I become emotionally infested. And the infestations I'm talking about is wherein you become very resentful, become depressed, become angry, become very tired and worn down and overwhelmed. If I stay in that position, then what happens to me is that I start to infest everything around me, just like a virus spreads. Before you know it, I'm irritable. I'm not as clear on my work, on all of my passion. Even music that I love playing, creating and writing and playing with my band, then many times I'm not as inspired about it. I find my spirit getting down, and then before you know it, especially if you have children, or you have, even if you don't have children, what other responsibilities you may have in your life, you find that where they used to feed your spirit before, that's not happening anymore. They become sources of irritation. What then should you do when you find yourself covered in the fogs and layers of distractions of life? Get away. It's as simple as that. Create your escape. Whether your escape is mentally, by taking time to really do the things that make you happy, not because they make other people happy, not because they're your obligations to do, not because it makes your wife, your children, or your friends, or your boss happy. You have to get away and do what makes you happy. And you might ask and say, well, Roland, what if I haven't really created something that makes me happy? What if I don't know now? What if I've been gone so far away from my happiness that I feel like maybe I'm way far too gone? I say you're only one step closer to a smile that comes deeply from within. And what I'm talking about is if you really just took a moment to simply breathe. Like you see, I came out here in the wild and you can hear the stream flow in the background. You hear it? I had to be silent so you can hear it. Being in such an environment feeds your spirit. So if you're a guy who's sitting behind the desk 24/7 behind computers, then get out. Just shut down the computer. You know something? The world will not stop spinning. Traffic will not stop going. Life will continue. And that computer and that desk will be there waiting for you. But what you can't afford is to sit there continuously, whether it's behind the desk, whether it's through painful experiences going through your life right away, or a relationship that is no longer feeding you, that is distracting you in many ways. Whatever is going on in your life, you have to get away. That is the point of that. Get out in the wild, go for a walk. Wherever you live, if there is a park, if there is a large forest or something, go for a walk. And in that time as you walk, remind yourself several things that you see before you became this man with obligations. You are somebody's son. Irregardless of what parental relationships you may have had, as some of you know in my case. However, the bottom line remains is that at one point in your life, you were a baby, a bouncing baby boy. And nobody gave you the manual of life to say, by the way, John, Paul, Steve, Roland, here is how you live life, and here is how you live as a champion. We don't have this manual on life. Some of us have figured out the hard way. Some have learned through trial and error to find our path. But when you arrive at this point while taking care of yourself, walking out, spending some time doing what you love, whether it's music, whether it is painting, whether it's dancing or singing or playing an instrument, the piano or something, or maybe just writing books or connecting with friends. When you spend time doing that, you should then arrive at this child that's in you, reminding yourself that at some point you have been somebody's child, that deep inside, irregardless of all the responsibilities, you still are a child simply looking for happiness. And that happiness, therefore, you can only create from within yourself. So one, take a time to go out, spend time out, escape from the stress and the pressure by taking time out. Literally for yourself. And especially if you work for yourself, then you've got no excuse. Many times those who are working in jobs may not have the freedom of schedule like when you work for yourself. And I work for myself, of course, as a professional life coach in my business, Global Empowerment Institute. And of course, we also know, especially those who are working for yourself, that you have layers of responsibilities. You are a one-man army, right? As an entrepreneur, you're wearing many, many hats. So guess what? You did not come into business for yourself to work as though you work for someone else. You came into business for yourself to be free, the freedom to decide and chart out the course of your life. So guess what? You can put your projects on hold for a day, for a weekend. Like that's what I'm treating myself to. A weekend away out in the wild where I can be with myself. And as you will see maybe in some of the pictures I will upload later on, there's a dog running around here. He's keeping me company. It's not my dog, but just a gentle spirit. I think he really likes me and I like him too. So we're gonna hang out together. So my encouragement to you is that you need to get out and encourage yourself. Remind yourself that at some point you are a child inside too. and that happiness you deserve. Now, another thing to remember is that you weren't born into this world to live obligation-centered. That means you have to do everything for everyone else and make everyone else happy and neglect yourself. If you do that, you will be like a chef who cooks an amazing meal in the kitchen, feeds everybody, but he or she starves. Pretty dumb, right? I don't think you want that for yourself. If this goodness that you are, these profound abilities and talents and skills and insight that you have in you, the number one person in the world who deserves it first to taste of that goodness is yourself. If you're living life from a place of emptiness wherein you're not rejuvenating your own spirit, you're not feeding yourself, then you are living life from a place of emptiness. You have nothing much to give anyone else. You will be frustrated. And I promise you, depression, resentment, anger, rage will soon follow, because you're pretty much living on fumes. So then, to fill yourself completely, find what makes you happy. And if that's not clear for you now, then going back to what I said, get out, escape, go for a ride, go for a drive, spend time in nature somewhere. If even finances are hard where you couldn't afford maybe a cabin out in Blanco or somewhere else, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is you just need to get away. So shut down the computer, close down the office, put the phone on silence, and escape. Your mind, your body, the cells in your body, your creative genius will start flowing, and you will thank yourself more. Another thing I want to say is, don't negotiate life from a place of weakness. Those of you who are in business understand that it's never good to go into any negotiation from a place of weakness or desperation, right? I want to tell you 4 things that will always put you in the place of weakness when it comes to negotiating with life. 1, in fact, let's create an acronym for it. This has been around forever, so this is not my original creation. But so here is the acronym: HALT. H-A-L-T. 4-letter words, right? H-A-L-T. HALT. H is for hungry. When you're hungry, you feel weak. Okay? You're starving and you are not as energized to engage life. Do not engage life from a place of hunger. You will find yourself irritated, angry, being more on the defensive, with a drained energy. Trust me, I've been there. It's not a good thing. And if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So then feed yourself, whether it is physical, by eating literally good, healthy foods, or also feeding your spirit. Because spiritually, when you're drained, mentally, when you're drained, you're empty. You have to feed yourself. So spiritual hunger, physical hunger, or mental hunger, do not negotiate life from a place of such weakness. You will find yourself on the losing end. Number 2, anger. Anger, as soon as we become angry, something happens. Our reasoning factors go down. In fact, blood flow in the body is not as fluent. Your body goes from a relaxed state into a fight or flight mode. You are not as flexible with your life, and definitely not as creative. Something I've come to learn is that when I'm in a jam, when I'm at a dead end, the way I take power is to quickly create empowering options. I stop and say, okay, I can whine and complain and fuss about this. That will get me nowhere. But I can ask myself, what are my options? And if I don't have any, I'm going to create options. And then I have to take action. So you create options and move forward. But just being there in anger and rage doesn't serve you any good. Anger is not a bad thing, by the way. It is when that energy is used negatively to a place of self-destruction or destroying what you care about. Your relationship, your business, your job, your career, your best friends, or your friendships as a whole. When that anger is channeled towards what you care about, including yourself, when anger is internalized, we get into depression, right? Then that particular energy, which can be a force for good, has become now infested with negativity that will take you down. So the first way out of that is let go. Let go. It's not worth it. I don't care what's stressing you and angering you. I promise you, if you took a deep breath and took a step back, you will find out it's not worth it. It's not worth losing your health over. It's not worth losing your heart condition over. It's not worth losing your life over. You're here for a purpose. You are here to accomplish a lot. You didn't just come here to take on all these obligations. Your birth is with a purpose. And let me say something to men. This is why I'm making this video for men. You see, one of the things that we like to go after is women. Whether it's one woman, as in a relationship, or whether it's dating several. I know some of you fellows out there like dating several. Whatever it is, I'll tell you a little secret about it. And there are some men who don't go after women, right? Okay, so others go after men. No judgment here on anybody. Whatever you focus on to express your love and passion towards, I want to say something to you. That object, person or being that you are attracted to is simply a reflection of yourself, to be honest with you. So therefore, what you're ultimately seeking is to express love to yourself, is to express kindness, compassion towards yourself. Now here is where we get caught up in the dilemma. Many times while you're busy expressing that to others, you will find that you won't be as appreciated, because until that other person have begun loving themselves, they cannot fully appreciate your love. And now another thing that you must do now is to begin expressing this towards yourself. When you begin loving yourself, being compassionate, generous, and kind to yourself, a process of forgiveness begins. Forgiveness for yourself, whatever guilt and shame you may carry. Oh, that's another one for a different video. The guilt and shame that men carry. We've got to talk about that sometime. And so what I want to encourage you is that as you let go of all of that and begin loving yourself, something happens. You can appreciate love more from your significant other. Your career actually can begin giving you more love. Your work, your projects, your job, your passion, you find more love and restoration in it. So anger must go. It doesn't serve you. If you must be angry, take it and use it like an Olympic athlete will do, wherein you decide there is an obstacle to move past. And then for me, I snap my finger when I'm in the gym, or I clap my hand when I'm running to say, come on, Roland, let's go. So then the same thing for you. If you must then use the anger, use it positively. Get frustrated at mediocrity. Get frustrated at being stuck in the same place and decide, I want more for my life. I was born here to penetrate this life, the fogginess of life, the fogginess of relationships, the distractions of life itself. I'm born to penetrate past all of those and engage my purpose, my passion. So therefore get frustrated and say, I'm not settling for less anymore. I expect more out of myself. And then move forward with that, if you must channel anger. But however, the anger I'm speaking of that must be gone is negative anger. It is self-destructive. It destroys everything else. Now another thing is L, okay, H-A-L-T, loneliness. That can be a killer. It creates apathy in life, distracts so much, and really just drains you. It takes the fun out of living when you are living in a state of loneliness. Let me tell you something. In case you haven't checked the statistics, right? There are over 7 billion people in the world. There are many animals who love horses, dogs, cats, you name it. There are trees all around, right? There is Mother Nature. This is a beautiful world we live in. Ignore the cynicism out there and all the negativity, all that BS you hear on news and media. No, take a time to silence your soul. This is why getting away like this, in whatever way you choose, can help you. So then the reason why I mention all of these other people, 7 billion or over 7 billion in the world, is that you don't have to be alone. You don't. You don't have to park your life away, pack yourself into some corner and give up on yourself. There's so much love in this world. Once you begin loving yourself and accepting yourself for who and what you are, then find others who are part of your tribe and connect with them. Many times, men, we find ourselves just being alone in our world, from our job in front of the TV, and we keep on growing guts, bigger butts, and flabs everywhere, and before you know it, you give up on yourself, man. You deserve more than that. You were born here with a purpose. You have a mission to accomplish. And you know something? There is no such thing as failure. There is only feedback. So you will only fail if you conclude, I have failed. If you decide this is it, I'm not going to try anymore, then that's it for you. But as long as you keep trying, putting the next foot in front and taking a step forward, even in baby steps, you will win. So you don't have to be lonely with just you and your TV remote, or coming back home and finding your wife and kids and going, ah, man, not again, I got a responsibility here. You can connect with other guy friends who think like you, who some think better than you, because you know, if you just follow those who only think like you, well, then you're stuck in the same dilemma, right? So then find others who you vibe with and connect with. Go out, go have fun, maybe get a beer with some friends, do something. Okay, this I'm speaking to men of all background. I don't care what your religious affiliation is, what your faith or background is. I'm talking to men in general. Now, another thing out of this acronym, we've gone through H for hunger, A for angry, L for loneliness. Now, T, this one is something that you've got to work on big time. Tired. If you're tired and you have fatigue in your life, you are negotiating with life from a position of weakness. You will be coming from the losing end. What you must do is get rest. And trust me, you see me pointing the finger at you? You know how many pointing back? So I'm speaking to myself too as a man. Okay? Get rest. Get away. Get some rest. Shut down the job. Shut it down. Take a break. Go on a freaking vacation. Yeah, I said that. Go on a vacation. Go for a break somewhere. Spend some time by yourself. Escape somewhere. When you're tired, that's when you find yourself being even much more irritable. And because of the fatigue, the brain actually goes into a survival mode wherein it's not firing on all cylinders. So you cannot even be as creative and as engaging. You start to lose passion. So then what you must do is to rejuvenate your energy. You deserve it. You see, being a man in this crazy world right now, man, we're up for so many distractions, at the same time so many obligations, but there is nobody who is really giving us the manual on how to be a man, because there is no such thing as that. The best way you can be and the best place you can learn to be a man is from your own heart. But if you're tired, you're lonely, you're angry, and you're hungry, my friend, you can't reason, you can't think, you can't even tap into your own heart and your own passion to really focus on who you are and who you want to be, and how much of your energy you have for yourself, and to be able to give to others who rely on you and who need you actually. So then from a position of tiredness, you really can't do much. So I'm encouraging you as your brother, as your friend, and hopefully as your coach, if you want guidance, because many times I've had to have a lot of mentors in my life who've helped me, a lot of coaches who've helped me. So I didn't just get here all by myself. People have always helped me. So I would love to be a help in your life from a non-judgmental place, a compassionate place, loving you and encouraging you and guiding you to choose for yourself what is it that makes you happy, and how it fulfills your life and fills your life every day, so that you have more for yourself and more to give all that is in your life. Your relationships, your children, if you're a father, your career, your business, your projects, whatever it is that you do. I would love to be your guide along this road of your life. This is my passion. This is what I'm obsessed with. So I'm out here feeding my spirit. And as your brother, Coach Roland here from Global Empowerment Institute, if you want to check out my website, you can go to geicoaching.com or sunuma.com, where you can learn more about my story. And Sunuma is S-U-N-U-M-A. I am wishing you well and cheering you on. Find your escape today, and do not negotiate life from a position of weakness, which is hunger, anger, loneliness, and tiredness or fatigue. So engage your life and live your life passionately. Whatever is holding you down, let it go and move on with your life. I'm wishing you well. Take care. Much love and bye-bye.